Wait, how do I? Is it on video? You want video?
Yeah, video.
Is it on?
First start out, what's your origin story?
Yeah. My name is DPAK. I'm originally from Maryland, born and raised. My parents are from India, so I'm first generation Indian American. But I grew up studying pre-med and pre-law, but I always did music. So I was just on stage here with James O'Keefe, and I also perform at Amfest and Rescue the Republic. I also did the music for Plandemic series, violin and singer, songwriter. So I ended up finishing my pre-med, pre-law, but I decided to be an artist and musician because I feel like we can impact the world with art and music, powerful songs, a vibration that can reach the masses with positive energy and positive message. So it's more of like a mission now, to be aligned as an advocate for humanity, to make music and art that can change the world and also transform the entertainment industry, which has been really taken over by demonic forces. And so we're kind of like, infiltrate from the inside and bring the good vibes back, to the music industry. So just independent art. My boy Jimmy Levy, he's here. He and I do Jimmy Levy, a lot of other musicians, Spirit, James O'Keefe. We're all just trying to bring the good vibes back and the entertainment and the music and bridge the world of truth, freedom, politics, and just love, but do it in like an authentic way where we're not selling out to the industry, not selling out to the big, controllers and the bankers and the cartels, and we're actually coming from the heart and really just being team humanity for the people, you know what I'm saying?
And who's your favorite Indian musician and who's your favorite Indian movie?
Man, Indian musician, I would say, Lal Gudi Jay Raman. You may not know him, he's a South Indian violinist. And I play violin, so I grew up listening to him. He's an amazing South Indian classical violinist, but there's also a person named Zakir Hussain, who just passed away last week, and I was blessed to be able to record him for a Disney show. I used to do music for Disney. I did 45 songs for Disney, and we got Zakir Hussain on the tablas and the percussion. So that was kind of an honor to be able to work with him and record him on that. So, and then favorite movie would be, when I was a kid, I grew up with a movie called Khamoshi. It's an Indian Bollywood love story. It's a beautiful story. So anyway, I don't know that many of them, because I grew up here in America, but I do love some of the classical Indian music.
And how about what would you say is your dream collaboration? Dream collaboration?
Dream collaboration?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm a big fan currently. If it was anybody who was, even if they're not alive, Michael Jackson, just because he's legit. But I love Radiohead. If I could, jam with Radiohead and Tom York, that'd be amazing. Musically, I'm a Coldplay fan. I like Chris Martin.
Vampire Weekend?
Oh, Empire. Oh yeah.
I got to meet a few of those guys.
Vampire
They're really nice.
Weekend. I would love to jam with Vampire Weekend, Empire of the Sun, MG. I like a lot of good music. So if they're good artists and they're true from the heart and they're not selling out energetically, then I'm down to align and perform and collab and play violin. I used to play with Rihanna. I played with a lot of other artists back in the day, but now I'm only want to align with people that are, really doing the thing, doing the truth.
Who inspires your style?
Maybe a little bit of Michael Jackson, maybe a little bit of David Bowie, I've always been a crazy kind of wild artist, expressing myself. I've always been compared, I don't know if you were here, but I was just singing Billie Jean on stage with James O'Keefe, so I really like Michael Jackson, but also David Bowie, because he's a real artist, he really expressed himself with all sorts of different colors and different styles, and I really like being a character, stepping into the character inside of us, to express themselves,
And how about ways to improve the inflation prices?
On inflation prices?
Yeah.
So I think, to me, I'm a free market guy. I grew up studying Ron Paul, Mises Institute, Rothbard, and I feel like the best thing to change the way pricing works is competition, bringing down the prices. So inflation falls right into that. Free markets allow that. You get the corporatocracy out of it, you get the lobbyists out of it, you get the government out of the way, no regulations, and then we all manage ourselves with competition, free markets, and social proof, if we don't like something, we should be able to talk about it and vote with our dollars and not have the government controlling prices, government controlling income, any of that. Government needs to get out of the way. That's how you bring down prices in medicine. You deregulate, you get the man out of the way, and everything naturally comes down. And that's how it's always been throughout history. The most prosperous countries, even in the parts of Norway before 1800s, laissez-faire economics is really about allowing the market to dictate prices and having competition be the winning formula.
And what do you think is the future for transportation?
Transportation, well, that's interesting because a lot of technology is coming up. So transportation can go a lot of different ways. I mean, we've got a lot of automation coming up right now. So, I'm wary of it just because I don't want to be riding in a car that's controlled by a machine that may not like my opinions and want to crash me into something. So there's a little bit of skepticism. That said, technology is technology. We have iPhones, we have things. It's natural for us to evolve. So I do see transportation evolving into a balance between automation and, at the least, having automation help with traffic. Because even if we're still driving, if there's more efficiency on the road, where it's less about human error and there's a little bit more calculation and algorithms helping, I think we can have less traffic. But either way, technology is evolving. Lots of amazing, futuristic vehicles, electric vehicles. I'm not a fan necessarily of certain aspects, but I do see the possibilities of human invention always being a great thing as long as we use it for good.
And this is one of the biggest world problems. How would you solve the human trafficking?
This is a big one, and a lot of that's really about eradicating the corruption from the inside out. I mean, I think a lot of people are entrapped that are involved in it, and it's really like one of those industries where whistleblowers are scared to come out because it's one of the biggest industries and people don't want to get killed, so it's one of those things where I think the more people are exposing it, the stronger the people get, the more that the nefarious forces can't win. If there's only a few people talking about it, then they can target those people, target those families, scare them. But if everyone's talking about it, you can't take on the army of Team Humanity. So I think it's all about things like this, spreading the word, letting people know it's a thing, showing more proof, showing more evidence, and just getting the truth out about all these things, human trafficking, any other corruption, any other centralization or globalism, centralized government, world government. I think we need to stand up against that by operating as individuals, free sovereign beings that are operating. Community resilience is the way.
And who would you be, Godzilla or King Kong? Godzilla or King Kong?
I would say King Kong for me, only because I resonate with his emotion. Like, when I see King Kong, it feels like a human, like his eyes and his tears, and I feel like he's, they're both kind of epic characters, but I would say King Kong kind of has that really emotional empath feeling, where he's wanting to protect the humans. He's like, all the time you see him like, resonating and connecting with the humans.
Would you be an alien or predator?
Probably alien.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How about a Cupid, devil, or genie? A Cupid, or devil, or genie?
I would go genie because a genie is someone who's serving other people, is helping others, and I consider myself someone who wants to give other people their wishes. So if I was a genie, I could be someone that's granting other people their dreams, and that's my goal in life, is to empower other people and help them achieve their dreams. So in a way, I'm already kind of like a genie right now.
And would you be a kung fu master, ninja, samurai, or silent assassin?
I would do Kung Fu because I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee, and he developed and actually refined Kung Fu into Jeet Kune Do, his own art. And so I'm a big Bruce Lee fan because of his philosophy, the way he empowers, the way he gets into don't think, feel, tapping into the body, tapping into the intuition. So Kung Fu to me, and Wing Chun specifically, Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do.
And would you walk on water, levitate in space, fly in a cloud, or fly a UFO?
Well, let's see. I don't believe in space, and walking on water seems like a good thing to be able to do. I think it's not about the walking on water, but it's a sign of being able to control yourself relative to matter, and really stepping into the fact that we're all magnets. The Earth is a giant magnetic field, a torus shape, and we're in the plane of inertia. And so to walk on water really is a sign of the ability to tap into our own magnetic beingness.
And in California, the fault line, how do you think they can fix that?
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily about fixing it. I think it's about, honoring that nature exists and that we should put ourselves in places where, where we feel comfortable, and just know that no matter where we are on the planet, nature's going to have some effect, whether it's fires, or earthquakes or hurricanes or tsunamis. We're making a choice to live with nature, and nature does crazy stuff. So we just got to be aware that's just how things change. The climate's always changing. It naturally just does that. And we're on this earth, and we got to be prepared.
And in this world, we're in a spiritual warfare. It's God versus the devil. So, what's your side on that?
Exactly, yeah. I believe we're in a spiritual war, and that a lot of us that are assembled here are on the side of good, on the side of God, to fight the spiritual demons that are out there. And whether it's an individual or it's an energy force that's taken over with certain actions, I think it's all out there, and it's our job to step into our divine genius, to step into God, to step into Jesus, step into our actions that we know are good, to be in service to other people and do the right thing.
What's the most ironic thing that's ever happened to you so far?
Explain more.
Like it's like it happened to you like randomly, like something that happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I think my whole life kind of happens randomly. Like, I'm here at this event right now, and like, it's all a series of beautiful events. It's a very divine alignment. It's almost like walking on the yellow brick road of life. And just, I feel like if I'm breathing and I'm being humble and I'm stepping into like my divine alignment and my purpose, life sort of presents itself in a very perfect way. So in a way, all of it's ironic, all of it's serendipitous, all of it's synchronistic, all of it's divine, godly, and magical. And every step of the way leads to this moment right now, and I'm trusting that there's a greater force beyond me that's guiding this. And I'm just like focused on staying on my purpose and being in service to humanity. That's it.
And what's your favorite musical?
Funny you ask. I would say my favorite musical now is called Plandemic, the musical, because I wrote the whole thing myself. It's the project I did with Mickey Willis. It's a musical with featuring Jimmy Levy and Hi-Rez and JP Sears and myself and many other freedom fighters. And so right now it's my favorite because I feel really proud of the work that we did, the art that we did, and the love that went into it. So, but outside of something that I was a part of, I really love growing up with My Fair Lady. It's a beautiful story. It's like a taming of the shrew from Shakespeare brought to modern times in England. And I really enjoy Audrey Hepburn and all of the beauty that My Fair Lady represents with Henry Higgins and just the whole story. It's a very, very beautiful story.
I love In the Heights.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
And how about what are your thoughts of cryptocurrency? And do you think that'd be the new currency? Or you think there'd be something else that would replace it?
So, I'm a big cryptocurrency proponent. I'm an enthusiast. I've been part of the decentralized philosophy for a long time, which includes cryptocurrency. So I think the important thing about cryptocurrency is maintaining the philosophy of it, which is decentralization, privacy, anonymous, peer-to-peer transactions, and just knowing that we have a right as humans to trade and interact in commerce without any government intervention. That's what cryptocurrency is to me. That's what it's all about. And so I think it's really important to maintain that. I know that there's other things coming down the pipeline with governments and CBDCs. Those are all going to be coming. I think as that happens, I think we need to really empower ourselves and really lean in more to the privacy of cryptocurrency and privacy coins, Bitcoin itself, Ethereum, all these different things that have different functionality and different utility. But I think if we maintain the fact that the purpose is for us to interact peer-to-peer without any interference, without getting permission from big daddy government, that's the point of the philosophy of decentralization. And to me, that's what Bitcoin represents. And I'm a big fan of standing by that and acting on that and interacting in commerce privately with my fellow humans without any interference from any other higher entities that don't have authority over me or anybody else.
And there's been rumors of war, either it be chemical warfare or drones attack. How do you think we can prevent that?
I mean, I think just like the other question about how we can prevent anything with those human trafficking, I think the more we wake up, the more we stand up as Team Humanity, the bigger our army of individuals is, the less power that they will have over us. So that includes anything. That includes warfare, that includes poisonous food. I think the more we learn about it, the more we tell everybody, the more we can stand up, the more we protest, the more we choose what we eat, choose what we do with our dollars, the more we have, the more power we have. So same thing when it comes to war, we can stand up against it. We can not pay into the war system, the tax system, the voting system, which is really promoting extortion of people taking their money against their will and using it for things they don't believe in, like war. And I don't want to participate in that. I think the more we stand up and not participate in that, the less that they have power to do war.
And in this industry, there's been a lot of crazy shit going on, especially the music industry. So how would you help artists avoid that?
Yep, so I would say for me, again, the general theme when you ask a question about avoiding, it's not really about avoiding something, it's about replacing it. So same thing with economy, we create our own parallel economies. If it's a music industry, we create a parallel music industry. And that's what I'm here to do, and that's what a lot of my friends, like I mentioned, my friends Jimmy Levy and Spirit, and other artists that I've aligned with, that we're here to create our own music independently, that's not compromised, where we're not tempted to do things and sell our souls. And I think the more of us, the more artists that can step up, the more artists that can speak out and sing out and not be afraid of cancel culture. being canceled to me is a badge of honor. Get canceled. Let's do this. Let's show up and get canceled because we're building our audience of real truth seekers, and the bigger our audience is, the less power the industry has over artists like me and anybody else. That's how we beat the music industry, is by creating our own.
And would you be a Pokemon Master, Dual Master, Super Saiyan?
Super.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one?
The third one.
And how about your favorite author?
My favorite author?
Yeah.
Douglas Adams. He wrote the Hitchhiker Guide series. I'm really a big fan of that combination of British humor and science fiction that also plays with philosophy and existentialism. To me, Douglas Adams captures that in a beautiful way.
And what's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal is the Black Panther. I resonate with the cat, the feline, especially like a big cat, like a Black Panther.
What mythical creature would you be?
Say that again?
Mythical creature.
I thought you here.
What mythical creature would you be?
What creature?
Yeah, mythical creature.
Oh, mythical creature. I love dragons. I'm a big fan of dragons because I have the fire symbol. And I really like, so some kind of ancient mystical dragon would be a beautiful thing.
And how about a Transformer, Power Ranger, Ninja Turtle?
Ninja Turtle, man, Ninja Turtle. And especially a specific one, I would be a combination between Michelangelo and Donatello, because I think Michelangelo represents the fun and the childlike nature, and Donatello represents the brains. And I'm a Gemini with the balance of both, fun and also logic and creation and invention. Donatello is very inventive and scientific, and Michelangelo's like, hey, lighten up. I think a balance of that is important.
And in Antarctica, what do you think they're keeping from us? In Antarctica, what do you think they're keeping
I think that the Antarctica Treaty, which happened in the 1948, around that time, is around the same time as many federal government agencies, NASA, CIA, and what's going on there is that we have a different shaped Earth than I think we've been told we have, and it's not necessarily that I know what it is. I'm not going to call it like flat or not. I'm just saying I'm pretty confident on what it's not, and I think that behind Antarctica is a beautiful bunch of land, ancient Tartarian land and other land that's been going back for a long time, and if you cross that line, I think a lot of it's frozen right now, but Admiral Byrd, I believe, went there. I think other people have been there. I think that right now it's being guarded in order to have people not go beyond that, to find out that there's a lot more hidden there, and ancient societies that have been around for a long time, that are a part of our history, part of our big buildings, and I think that that's really what's going on in Antarctica.
And how would you improve the homeless situation? The homeless situation.
Yeah, well, I think there's a mental health crisis. That's a big part of a lot of that, and I think a lot of people also have been privy to like the flaws of not having a true free market means less prosperity. So a balance between a system that's creating mental health challenges around, but everyone's being indoctrinated with fear. The media is driving people crazy with fear-based messages. The poison in the food is definitely helping cause people to have, psyche issues and neurological issues. On top of that, all the fear porn that's coming from the media is creating a psychosis. So balance between, bad inputs of stimuli, negative inputs, negative information, negative food, is going to create a high level of depression and other mental health problems. So now, mental health leads to a bunch of problems together. You got homelessness, you got mass shootings. All that comes from really a mental health crisis that's being stimulated by a lot of negative information, a lot of stimulated fake hate. People are being trained and told to hate each other, left versus right, being told that there's racism, a lot more racism than there really is. A lot of this stuff is not even real. There might be a small amount of it here and there, but I think hate is actually being stimulated by the forces above that don't want people to love each other, because it's easy to control a population that's fighting each other, aka controlled opposition, aka Hegelian dialectic, which is a way to control the people. So mental health leads to homelessness, leads to violence, leads to hate, leads to disagreements, leads to lack of acceptance, and leads to violence.
And how about social media, like versus now, versus back in the days, there wasn't really social media. So how you feel about that?
Yeah, same kind of thing. I mean, I think media is media, whether it's social media or mainstream media. The cool thing about social media is it does allow a bit of a more decentralized ability, potentially, but then once again, you've got major monopolies in social media that sort of almost are doing the same thing as mainstream media, in that they're controlling what's on there, and censorship. It's really nice that X has, balanced itself out with no censorship or less censorship, and that things are more even. I think the more decentralized social media comes up, the more up and blockchain-based social media comes up, the more ability the people have to take truth into their hands. The benefits also of social media are a lot of the podcast generation, where we can get the truth out in much better ways than the monopolies that want to control the information. So there's a lot of benefits to social media for sure, and I think the more that we get the truth out, once again, the more that we are able to connect with each other and follow things in independent media and take truth into our own hands and not, be sucked into CNN and Fox and MSNBC. The more we can actually be right here with our people, I think the better society we're going to have.
And how about your scariest moment in life so far? Scariest moment in life?
Scariest?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really a big into fear guy, but I think, I get a rush sometimes, and like I've done some crazy hiking stuff where I'm like hanging off the edge of a cliff like 1,000 feet in the air with one arm, but it's also a rush. So, I've done skydiving, a lot of stuff like that. Sometimes I'm on stage performing in front of millions of people, and maybe I'm a little nervous about my equipment not working, but I don't get nervous about actually performing. I'm very comfortable being on stage in front of crowds, but I might be a little scared that maybe the microphone's not going to work right, or my violin's going to be out of tune. So there's I can't really think of much that's really scary. I mean, I'm more of a solutions mindset. If something's like got fear, I'll just solve it. I'm more of a problem solver.
And what superhero, what video game character, and horror movie character would you be?
So, superhero, I really like Magneto from the X-Men. I really like Magnet Power. I like his stance and his stand for mutants. Superhero? That was the first one.
Yeah.
What was the next one?
Video game?
Video game character or video game itself?
Well, either or, yeah.
Yeah. So video games, I'm a Mario Kart guy. I used to love Mario Kart back in the day. And the character I would play is Bowser, because he has the highest top speed, lowest acceleration. But if you're masterful at the game, all you gotta do is get to top speed and stay there. And if you stay fast, you're gonna beat everybody. So it's about being masterful. And then horror, I'm classic, Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's such a good way, it's a good expression of the Dracula story, Nosferatu and Transylvania, so. Yeah,
and what would you rather do? Swim with the shark, swim with the whale, ride on Bigfoot's back, ride on Leviathan, ride on the Cyclops, or fly an eagle?
I would say a Leviathan, because it's the ocean, it's that big water, a big giant mythical beast. And we talked about dragons earlier, but now that you remind me, a Leviathan's probably one of my favorite mythical beasts too, so to be able to ride a Leviathan would be fantastic.
And do you think voting is rigged?
I think there's a lot of it that is. I wouldn't say I wouldn't make absolute statements that all voting is rigged, but I think that there's a lot of voting that is compromised. I think that the Dominion voting machines, there are whistleblowers that are coming out that were silenced 4 years ago. So I think there's some massive rigging there that happened in 2020. I think there's a lot of stuff around information that can affect people's votes, like the Hunter Biden laptop. So that wouldn't be the voting itself being rigged, but that would be the messaging being rigged to affect the voting. I think there's definitely stories about ballots of pallets, pallets of ballots being dumped, and so I think there's a lot of questionable stuff that's come up. Dinesh D'Souza did a movie, 2,000 Mules. So there's a lot of evidence that there's some, shady tampering around elections, and I think hopefully we can get a handle on that.
And how do you feel about the open borders policy?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of well, here's my thing. As like an old school, classical libertarian, I would say if things are open, then you can't offer the benefits. It's either one or the other. If you're going to offer benefits and all that, well, then you can't have open borders at the same time, because you're going to incentivize people coming to get the benefits. So if you want to go classical libertarian, you would have no benefits and have the free market handle that, and then allow movement and free trade also. So you can't have both. So I would say if you go full extreme and have full freedom and liberty, then you don't necessarily have to focus on borders. You focus more on the free market handling the borders. But if you're going to not do that like we have now, and you want to protect the nations, then we got to absolutely seal the borders and make sure that everyone's following the rules and coming in here legally. So you can't have both.
And how would you help someone through a dark time in life?
I think one of the biggest things you can do is support them, let them know that they're loved, and also really get them into some positive practices, positive mindset, affirmations, and also some deep spiritual work will help people. You know, with some stuff around breathing and meditation can really, it's shown to reduce cortisol, reduce stress, get people to a much happier place. And being around community, you know, so it's a combination of community, mindset, wellness, health, and you know, positive thoughts, positive mindset can really help reverse depression.
And what are new laws you think should come into play?
Which one?
New laws.
I mean, I'm not too focused on laws as an old school libertarian. You know, I think it's really more about you know, people stepping up in their communities and stepping up and protecting themselves and protecting each other, and again, getting the government out of the way. So I'm not as much focused on new laws as I am focused on free markets, free trade, and voluntarism being the way of the future. Voluntarism is really about, you know, opt-in societies and having everyone really, you know, be focused on voluntary choice and not harming each other. And if something's happening in a community where people are harming, then we need to step up as people and protect each other. Right now we're all waiting for the police to come. It's a monopolized police force. They don't even show up for an hour. They're not able to really help. But if we had private security everywhere, like Uber, who's just private, you got people showing up in 1 minute. So I think the entire system needs to be overhauled into a lot more focus on voluntarism.
And how about ways to eliminate censorship? Because there's censorship in free speech, TV, radio, movie, media, video games, books, comics,
all
anything.
All the above. As I said earlier, the best way to avoid things that aren't serving us is to create new things where we have more control over that. So if we're complaining about censorship, well, censorship can only happen on networks that we're participating in. And if we don't have control of that, then there's nothing we can really do other than do our best to, like, not give them our business. And I think if we don't give them our business, they're either gonna have to come around and stop doing that, or they're gonna fall. In the meantime, if we create more options, more competition, better media, better all of that, then we have control of it. We don't have censorship anymore because now we're onboarding everyone onto better platforms.
What's your favorite speech from a politician?
I mean, there's some really amazing speeches that I've heard Donald Trump give. You know, there's a couple, I can't remember which one, but there's some I mean, he's given some powerful speeches, all I can say, you know, a lot of them.
And how do you feel about reserving TV, movies, and music?
Say it again?
Like, how you feel about reserving TV, movie, and music, like physical, and now it's like digital? I feel like it's kind of difficult to reserve that.
Right. So I think it doesn't hurt to just have multiple forms of media, you know. And I think in the new world we're living in, everything's very digital. But you know, if I'm making an album, I want to make a vinyl also. You know, I want to make a vinyl copy of my album for fans to collect. And I think collectors are the old way, is collecting stamps, collecting music. And I think we can bring back collecting, bring back a culture of collecting, you know, which has that vintage feel. You know, it doesn't mean that we can't have digital also, because it's easy access, it's quick to get on Spotify, it's great. But I think there's something about getting your hands on a piece of media, a piece of art, you know, and having it be physical.
And do you have any kids yet?
Kids?
Yeah.
Not yet, but I'm planning on it next year.
What do you hope they be one day?
I hope they be free and happy and in service, and just be truly, like, expressing themselves in their best ways and following their divine purpose, whatever that might be.
Yeah. And would you be a dragon, a beast, or undersea creature?
Dragon.
Yeah. Do you think those things existed back in the days? Do you think dragons and dinosaurs existed or still exist?
I would say dragons, yes. I'm not sure about dinosaurs. You know, I think dinosaurs might be made up. I think that there's a lot of evidence that I've discovered that shows that dinosaurs may not have existed, but I think dragons do and have existed.
And would you be Terminator, RoboCop, Jack Sparrow?
Jack Sparrow. I resonate with Jack Sparrow. He's just like super loose. He's in the flow. He's in the moment, and he's just like, you know, it's like a drunken master in a way, where he's just like unassuming. And so when you're unassuming, people put their guard down, and then you can really strike. And Jack Sparrow has that ability.
And when you're making your music, what comes in your mind?
I imagine the whole world singing my song. And so I'm always thinking about like, what's a song I can come up with or write that everyone can sing and it's gonna make them feel pumped up, make them feel empowered, make them feel like excited to share it with another person, excited to like sing along in a stadium. So I'm always writing my songs thinking about, you know, a one world sing along, almost like We Are the World or Heal the World or like One Love by Bob Marley or stuff like that.
And how do you feel? Recently they started finding viruses. They're trying to test them and make new diseases.
I don't believe in viruses. I think virology, the entire science of virology is completely based on pseudoscience. It's a lie. They've never actually isolated a virus in a lab. I think that on Louis Pasteur's deathbed, he admitted that basically, that he was not happy with the way they use the science and pasteurization in a negative way to control the entire modern industry. All of allopathic medicine to me is completely flawed, and I think that we're actually healthier than we realize, and that we have the ability to heal ourselves, and that we're focusing on a boogeyman called a virus or a contagion that's never been proven to exist, and that there's actually a completely different set of causes that if we could let go of that pseudoscience, we could really discover really what's going on.
And what Greek god would you be?
Hermes. Hermes Mercurius Trismegistus. Is that Greek? I don't know. I think it's Greek.
And would you be Santa, the Tooth Fairy, Krampus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Jack Frost?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's got a nice little underdog story, and something about the underdog feels good to me. Like he's underestimated, he's an underdog, but then he comes out, and it's a hero's journey. It's a positive story. So I think that'd be a great thing, man.
When you started doing music, did your parents and friends support you right away?
They supported me my whole life, but when I first started to do it as a career, they were just they weren't unsupportive. They were just concerned that I would not be able to make a living doing it. But then after a year or two, they saw that it was working for me, and then I became a successful artist, and they're happy that I did that.
And how would you change the award ceremonies? Because it seems like they're rigged for awards.
What's that?
Award ceremonies like Oscars.
Again, same thing, same theme. You know, if that's going on over there, I think we make our own. Anything we don't like, we make a better version ourselves.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
And how about how you feel about new cartoons versus old school ones?
I mean, I haven't really watched any in a while to see. I like a lot of the old ones. I like the old anime. So, you know, I'm curious what's out there. I'm not really sure.
What time period would you go to?
Yeah. Time period. By the way, I gotta go soon. So, time period. 1600s.
Okay, and then our last two words of encouragement for people who want to be a singer.
For people that want to be a singer?
Yeah.
I would say open your voice, shine it, listen to stuff out there, and just like practice, you know, stay practicing and use your ears. Singing is not about singing, it's about listening. You gotta step up your listening.
And last one, would you be E.T., a Gremlin, a Troll, SpongeBob, Felix the Cat, Poppy the Sailor Man, a Jetson, Futurama, Simpsons, or Rugrats, or Red and Stimpy, or Picking the Brain?
South Park.
Yeah?
Yeah. South Park's cutting edge, baby.
Thank you.